The concept of Darn Good Soup came out of me working in food service for a long time, and me wanting to avoid as many of the things that people who work in food service don't like.
Right.
And it was something that I had been wanting to do for a long time. Like I said, my wife said, "Why don't you just up and do it?" And I said, "Okay."
Welcome to season 9 of the No Dishes podcast, presented by our friends at Game Day Men's Health. They have a wide variety of services. You can find out more at GameDayMen'sHealth.com. I've been seeing them for 5 months, have lost over 50 pounds, but they do so much more than just weight loss. We're so appreciative to them of showing their support for the local restaurant community and highlighting the people that make it go. DJ, spin that track.
Hey, say, honey, let's go out to eat. Relieve our culinary duties. With all these restaurants to sweep us off our feet, they're bound to turn us into foodies. No dishes, no dishes, no dishes. We'll have a bottle of wine, relax and have a good time. No dishes. No dishes.
Super excited for today's episode. Some might even go as far to say it's going to be darn good. We're talking darn good soup, baby. We've got the original owner, Nels Boerner, and the new owner, Patty's. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thanks.
Thanks for having us.
Glad to have you here,
Great
Pat.
to be here.
You're a guest or a previous guest. Second time on, and I get to see you all the time.
That's right. We do get to see each other a lot. Yeah.
So it might be a little Nels heavy. Nels has such a fascinating history that I've been looking forward to this because you've been helping us out with this transition, but I haven't been able to be there for a ton of that, and I have all these questions that people have been asking me. I was like, you know what, I don't know, but I'm going to have an opportunity to talk to Nels, and I can ask about it. But let's just start with a general overview of when you started Darn Good Soup and what were you trying to really accomplish?
Well, I needed a job.
Was a good place to start.
No, I had a job, but wanting to have my own restaurant was something I wanted to do for a long time. And I was kind of in limbo. I was working at Nick's, which is fine, but it wasn't my life's ambition or anything.
Right.
And it was something that I had been wanting to do for a long time. Like I said, and my wife said, "Why don't you just up and do it?" And I said, "Okay." And basically the concept of Darn Good Soup came out of me working in food service for a long time, and me wanting to avoid as many of the things that people who work in food service don't like.
Right. The long nights and weekends. And
well, there are a lot of the long nights, long days,
like
the first couple of years. But, having finicky customers, having to cater to a lot of people's little nitpicky wants and desires, having people stay in your dining room forever. Those are all things that are really pretty annoying to somebody who's in the restaurant business.
Right.
And I happen to have developed a certain talent for making big pots of food, whether that was soup or stew or whatever. And so I thought, well, what can I do that plays to my strengths and helps avoid the weaknesses of food service in general? What can I do where I can feed people and make them happy, and it's not a hassle for me or for them?
Right. Straightforward.
Yeah. So all those thoughts melded together to just make pre-made food that was really good, but didn't give customers the leeway to say, "Oh, could I have some capers with this?"
Or no onion.
No onion, please. No onion. No, this is what we've got.
Yeah.
I was telling Pat the other day that no was a very, very big part of the vocabulary of Darn Good Soup.
Interesting.
Just like, this is what I've got. This is what I'm offering. And if you want to buy it, that's great. And I think it'll make you happy. But if you don't want to buy it, that's great. That's fine. No.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I never heard you give this explanation before, but or even thought about how that is one of the benefits. Where it's like, you can't customize it; it's already made.
No.
Huh.
So that was that. And
did you have any other ideas besides soup, or was that the idea that you really landed on because it was so simple?
That was what I landed on because the simplicity and because it was what I was good at.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a good cook.
In general, yes, you are.
In general, but that was one thing that I particularly liked doing. I like making big, huge pots of food. Feeding a lot of people.
You mentioned developing that talent. Like, how did that just kind of organically happen?
I mean, it was. It did just kind of organically happen. I was working at the Uptown Cafe, and I did 3 tours of duty there, and 2 of them. The first one I started as a dishwasher and ended up being the head chef. The second one I was just head chef, and then the third one I was just a breakfast cook. I didn't want to be the head chef that time around.
Let's dial back the responsibility a little bit.
Yeah, but in the first tour of duty is when I really learned a lot of cooking and we would make the soups and gumbos and stews from scratch, and I just happened to like it really well, and I happened to do really well at it, better than most of the other people. So that responsibility became mine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I was the one most well suited to do it. So
to give a frame of reference here, what year is this? Where you're like, I'm getting out of Nick's, I'm starting my own restaurant. You land on the soup.
That was. Well, my son was born in 2012, so 2011 is when we opened Darn Good Soup, and I left Nick's in October of 2010.
Okay, so you had a little bit of time to focus on it.
Yeah. Well, I think it was actually probably more like August or September.
So you
putzed around for a long time before I finally got the doors open.
Yeah, I mean, it takes so much longer to open a restaurant than some people think. Where,
it
is a lot.
Well, I'd never done it before.
Yeah,
so.
Yes. That definitely.
I didn't really know what I was doing.
That definitely adds to it. So when you decide on Darn Good Soup, I mean, the nice part is, so like you were joking about, the number one thing we say is no, but you gave a wide variety. So it's like, I might not be able to customize this, but there's a lot of different options for you.
It's going to be something you like, regardless of whether we can customize it.
Yeah, definitely. That was always on my mind. There were always several vegetarian options and at least one vegan option.
Yeah.
There are always gluten-free options. There are always dairy-free options.
So you're covering your bases.
And always non-red meat options and red meat options. Sometimes there weren't red meat options, but those were all those things that I just listed were things that were active requirements every day.
Yeah. That's great. So it's like, again, you can't customize it, but we're going to be somewhat inclusive of your dietary needs when you come in.
Yeah.
And you were constantly rotating because I was digitizing recipes today. I feel like there's like 80. I think we had said 60 or 70.
There, yeah.
How did you develop? Because these are all, because I'm looking at them as I'm digitizing them, and they're just, they span the gamut. And to get the right amount of tomatillos or the right amount of this, how long did it take for you to develop all those recipes to get them to your liking?
Usually not very long.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
He's like, I know it tastes good.
Yeah.
I throw it in there. Yeah.
Savant. This is amazing.
Usually not very long. Every once in a while, usually in one session.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Usually, but not always.
So you find a recipe online and then tweak it, or are you just doing stuff from scratch? You're like, no, I want cheesy tomatillo, and you just kind of know what to put into it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Well, a very few recipes I adapted from online recipes, like things that I were really out of my past realm of experience, like the hot and sour chicken.
Mm-hmm.
That was actually I adapted a recipe that a friend of mine, she and her husband were originally from Hong Kong, and so she knows Asian cooking. And she gave me that recipe, and I adapted that. And then, like the sweet and sour pork, also not really in my realm of familiarity, and the bakso. Those two, I looked up recipes and then just said that this needs to change and this needs to change, and made some changes. And there are probably a couple others, but for the most part, they're just made up. And then, like a lot of times, it would be making soup out of something that's not soup, like the Philly cheesesteak soup, which is not one of my favorites, but it was okay.
I'm excited to try it though.
It was okay. It's not my favorite, but
Yeah, I mean,
and then like Phil's unstuffed cabbage, that was Phil's idea, and the two of us worked on it together. But that was like, how can we make a soup that is a cabbage roll that turned into soup?
I love it. That's a great idea.
That's been my favorite. That's been my
And
favorite
the
one.
chicken
so far.
pot pie was another one. It was like, okay, let's make chicken pot pie soup.
Yeah, deconstruct it.
Yeah. But yeah, for the most part, the recipes, it's just one session and writing everything down as you put it in, and then towards the end of the production of that, then you start tweaking and adding more of this and more of that. And if it doesn't turn out quite right, then you can make it a second time and take some stuff out. But it's hard to take. You can't take stuff out in the first time around.
Yeah.
So you try to get it right without having to do it again and take stuff out.
Are you doing smaller batches when you're doing your trial and error?
I was just going to ask that same question. Yeah.
Relatively small, like 6 gallons instead of 20 gallons.
I still love a 6-gallon test batch. It's wild.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So when you're leaving Nick's versus like how many recipes do you think you have at that time versus how many you developed before you opened versus how many you developed once the doors were open? Like was it an ongoing process or were you just kind of already had them down?
I don't think that I think I had that many written down. I mean, a lot of them were just in my head from having cooked over the years at the Uptown. And I made some soups at Nick's too. I developed the chicken tortilla when I was at Nick's actually.
Huh.
I don't know, maybe a dozen to 20 were already in my head, and a couple of them were written down.
Okay.
And then the rest were like, okay, what can we need to expand our repertoire here. And so what can I do?
I love
what
it.
What can I make?
Well, that's very interesting to me because I could have seen you answering that a million different ways. We're like, oh, I knew all of them by the time I was opening. Like,
no.
So you were open for 9 years or so. It sounds like that you were still making new ones, adding new ones. Because
I mean, the pace of adding new ones slowed down after the first few years.
Well, yeah, once you had a pretty good repertoire. You know.
But I have, I don't know if I have it anymore, but I might still have it somewhere, a big long list of soups that I wanted to develop, to add to it. But
I think Pat's.
It's always a question of.
I've got so many ideas right now.
I know.
Like I've got this big long list of new recipes we want to try and things we want to tweak, and after we get our feet underneath us, and adding new soups and kind of understanding what you wanted to add to, I think would be really interesting.
I'll look
you
for
have really
the list.
good,
I don't know. You
have really good judgment and intuition, and so
course,
would love to take a peek
if you happen to find that. Yeah. This for those watching, Pat and I have been living darn good soup for the last couple. Like we're going to be nerding out this whole time, and it might not be. Yeah. Like we're going to be like, oh, okay, yeah. I've already seen there's been multiple times Pat and I have locked eyes. Like, oh, this is fascinating because it's just really cool to hear the story and the inspiration and how it all came to be. So when you open, open your doors in 2011. What was the initial response? Was it because you obviously had a cult following by the time you closed in 2020?
Oh yeah.
Were they beating down the doors to begin with, or did you really have to build that up?
Well, the first day was just like any other restaurant opening day. It was busy as hell, but it took a little while. It took about 2 years to really build up the customer base. It didn't help that we opened in the middle of March, which is like towards the end of the busy season.
Interesting.
But actually, by the end of the following winter, we built up quite a lot, and then by the end of the second winter that we were open, we had a pretty solid customer base.
And you were always on the square. That was the one location.
Yeah.
And so you were cooking the soups in there and would get low on a soup and be like, all right, what's the next one in the Rolodex, and cooking that and bringing it on. Is that correct?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. And so,
I mean, we would try to have stock in reserve.
Right.
So we weren't like cooking to fill empty pots. Although that did happen sometimes in the middle of the winter when we were really busy. But yeah, that's the general gist is just keep going through the card file and take one from the front, put it in the back. Take one from the front, put it in the back.
Yeah, I know we've been running into that because, Pat and I both see one of many reasons that people love Darn Good Soup so much was the constant rotation of soups. And we've gotten it to where like every 2 weeks or so we're rotating in, but hopefully we can get our systems down to where we are rotating them in more frequently. So right now we're trying to balance the two of not killing ourselves and like being able to handle what's happening versus, and it just takes time to get these recipes down. We're really fortunate to have Katie Young and Phil Duffield, who both work for you, and you mentioned Duffield. He just said it yesterday too. And when he said it, I was like, ooh, that's how you say it.
I need to remember that.
I know, I always butcher it. Anyway, they're both such great people, such hard workers. They've been so instrumental in us getting these recipes right, because you've been fantastic as far as lending out your time, but you don't have unlimited time to give. So it's been a good mix. Are you wanting to move better, feel better, and live better? Look no further than Move Bloomington, where their small group personal training programs are designed to improve strength, balance, and flexibility. With a welcoming environment, their expertly guided workouts can help you feel supported in the life and activities you love in and out of the gym. Whether you're new to exercise, a lifelong athlete, or anywhere in between, their dedication to personalized programming will deliver sessions that meet you where you are. Visit movebloomington.com to learn more and get started today. Ralphie's to the rescue this holiday season. Don't miss Constellation Stage and Screen's family holiday show, A Christmas Story the Musical, on stage December 11th through January 4th at the Waldron Auditorium. Based on the beloved 1983 film, A Christmas Story the Musical brings laughter, nostalgia, and holiday cheer to life with unforgettable moments like the infamous leg lamp, outrageous pink bunny pajamas, a maniacal department store Santa, and a triple dog dare gone wrong. From the songwriting team behind Dear Evan Hansen, La La Land, and The Greatest Showman, this delightful holiday musical is a joyous celebration of Christmas, family, and childhood dreams. See it on stage this holiday season, December 11th through January 4th in downtown Bloomington. Find tickets at cconstellation.org. I've been using WaterTech pools for all of my pool and hot tub needs for 2 seasons now and cannot recommend them highly enough. Jason, Brian, and their entire team are incredibly knowledgeable and can help you with your next pool installation, closing or opening, or just helping you maintain your chemicals and cleanliness throughout the year. They even do custom stainless steel pools. Learn more at that's Jays, watertechpools.com. Pat, I want to bounce over to you as far as what inspired you I know you've been asked this a million times, but what was the inspiration of being like, I want to be the person that brings back Darn Good Soup?
Yeah, so part of the reason why we wanted to bring back Darn Good Soup was we were customers to begin with.
He was one of the cult following.
Our office, Hennepin, was downtown, and so we would go over there a couple times a week, and a bunch of folks from the office would go with me, and after we purchased the business, Nels told me that he remembers our kids coming in. So
wow.
Either we were really memorable or we were there a lot, maybe both.
Yeah. Good little mix. Yeah.
And so at one point,
Plus you guys would talk and say hello. And
Yeah,
you were
Actually,
part of the community.
yeah.
A lot of customers come in and they're like, I want my soup by.
Yeah,
So you guys would stop and talk.
Lots of folks just want to come in and get their food and just carry out, right? It's
nothing wrong with
it's
that.
Fast, yeah. And at one point, I remember there was a line out the door almost every day, but this particular day, I said once I paid for my soup, I said, "Hey, if you ever want to finance a second location, let me know." And
I remember that.
and you said, "Yeah, I'd really like that." And you never called me for that second location, but after you closed for the pandemic, a couple of your employees wanted to buy the company, and so you brought me in, and for various reasons that deal fell through. But after I left the Mill and Flywheel Fund earlier this year, I emailed you, and thank goodness you were still checking.
I like it. Yeah.
I just didn't want it to be.
No, you're fine. We'll have it
banging on
as
the
a set
table.
decoration. Yeah. We'll have you sign it before you leave.
Thank goodness you were still checking that email. In fact, I think you said, "Hey, I only check it once a month," and you happened to check it right when I emailed you, and I said, "Hey, I'm kind of planting seeds for when I officially leave the Mill and Flywheel Fund, and would you be open to talking about this?" And thank goodness you were, and we had a couple meetings to really just understand what about the business really drove it. Like I knew I liked it. I knew there were stories about Darn Good Soup about how people missed it. And I was really trying to gauge whether or not if we brought it back, would this be a real thing, or was this just going to be a romantic notion where I lost some money and a nice story to tell my grandkids one day?
We've all lost money falling in love before, Pat.
And so, after a couple of meetings, it became really clear that, Nels was very intentional about, hey, how do we make this super simple? How do we make this really, really fast? I think they were selling a cup of soup every 17 seconds during the peak of lunch.
But
I mean, that's record pace, but that wasn't uncommon, right? No. So, it just became clear that, hey, I think with some intentionality, we can replicate this. And, that was really this summer. And so at some point I don't remember, but I obviously did talk to you about this idea. I was socializing it. And then that's when you said, hey, we're thinking about really replacing our menu at Chocolate Mousse, and we want to actually do soup. And I was like, okay, the stars are aligning. Let's figure out a way to work together. And then we consummated the deal and reopened this fall.
Here we are. Yeah. Just to add to that, so we've tried a lot of different things with the seasonality of chocolate mousse and ice cream. And
seasonality sucks.
No, exactly. I was like, that's what I was like, I know you understand seasonality and how difficult it is to keep good staff on and just to pay the bills and realize like, I'm just going to lose money for a few months. That's a tough realization as a business owner.
That's what I ended up resigning myself to.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we've done it for my 11 years at the Moose. We're like, we're going to lose money 4 months out of the year. And
hopefully you won't anymore.
I know that's the goal. Well,
the seasonality should offset each other and we can share wages and employees. And so hopefully that'll balance out.
Yeah. So far it's been great. I think it's going to be really good. So I talked to Lovey about doing a soup concept or a baked potato bar concept and calling it Tater. But I was so confident that it just, whatever food we did needed its own brand because Chocolate Mousse has been known for ice cream for generations, and people just don't think of Chocolate Mousse for a sandwich, for lunch, for dinner. You go for ice cream, and that's great. We're very grateful for that. But I was like, it needs its own brand, its own Instagram, its own Facebook. So I want to, just be like, ooh, we're going to go to Tater for dinner. And then so when Pat reached out, I was like, this is an awesome idea. Darn Good Soup is beloved. Every year in the fall, you get Reddit posts, Facebook posts. Man, I miss Darn Good Soup.
Yeah, I know.
I'm sure you got people texting you too. Like thinking about coming out of the woodwork.
Oh yeah. But until this deal went through, pretty much every time I would go out shopping, people would stop me and say, "Are you going to open up again?"
So what's been better, not being asked that anymore or the money?
Not being asked that anymore.
Pretty close. But no, it's been such an honor. I've told multiple people where like I took it very seriously being able to take over the chocolate mousse brand. That was very beloved. Same thing with Taste of Bloomington. And then with Darn Good Soup. So we're like, we're going to do this right. We're going to try to do it as best we can. Reach out to you. I remember how nerve wracking it was when you and I took the first 2 cups of soup over to Nels' house.
Oh, you guys were nervous?
Oh yeah. Were you going to tell?
Knees were shaking.
Yeah. We were just like, oh, please don't just be totally off, and you were great. You were able to call out some things by just looking at it.
Yeah.
But they were pretty close. And that was like, that really was like, okay, we're on the right path.
There was enough confidence for us to say, okay, I mean, we were going to do it anyway, but like that was enough confidence for us to be like, okay, I think we're pretty close on this. Like, let's keep moving forward at the pace we were. Cause that was probably beginning of November, maybe end of October. And like we opened up mid-November. I mean, we're trying to get this thing reopened as quickly as we could.
Yeah, we were doing R&D for a while before those doors ever opened. Nels, you had mentioned one of the reasons you resigned yourself from Darn Good Soup was, or you said that you resigned yourself to, I'm just going to lose some money some of the months. Was that part of your decision? I mean, I know you've told some people why you decided to close the doors, but I'd love to just hear from you why in 2020 you're like, we're shutting this thing down.
It was just the pandemic.
Yeah.
That was the bottom line.
Right.
My lease was up for renewal in April of that year, and the general shutdowns happened, I think, in mid to late March.
Right.
And the signs were on the signs were on the wall, like starting at the end of February, beginning of March, that it was coming. The shutdowns were coming.
Okay.
And I hadn't renewed my lease yet. And even though there was all the small business assistance and PPP loans and stuff, and they were saying some of them could be forgiven, and nonetheless, the economic uncertainty of trying to stay open for who knew how long.
Right.
I was facing going into debt. At that point, the business was completely debt-free. I'd been debt-free for like 3 years or so.
Awesome.
Maybe even a little longer. I paid off all my debts pretty fast, way ahead of schedule. But I'd been debt-free for a long time, and I hadn't signed the lease, and the pandemic shutdowns, it looked like I'd be going into debt at least in the tens of thousands of dollars, and maybe as much as $100,000 or more just to stay in business.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what? This is not a good. This is a pretty easy choice to make.
Yeah.
I mean, even though it was my business and my livelihood and my, part of my being, part of what made me. It was kind of a no-brainer. I mean, the unemployment benefits were like doubled, so all my employees got paid at least as much. Some of them got paid, like the lower paid ones got paid more in unemployment than they got actually working.
Wow.
And so all my employees were taken care of for at least a year. So I wasn't just like bailing and leaving them in the lurch.
Right.
It was just kind of financially a no-brainer. It's like, okay,
yeah,
I gotta walk away from this, and it was not a happy decision, but
right.
I think it was a good decision. At least I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, and
it was tough.
Yeah, but it was just financially, it was a no-brainer.
That was a tough time for, not just the world, but in particular business owners, right? Like in a restaurant, you're literally bringing people together, and by culture or by government decree, you couldn't do that. And so trying to continue all that was impossible. So, I think that it's a very, very pragmatic, very smart decision.
Well, I hope it was smart. But yeah, it was, it was good for me in a lot of ways, just because restaurant work is hard.
It's not easy.
It's not easy. And even though I had gotten to the point where I wasn't even working full time anymore, I was working like 30 hours a week, which is great.
Yeah, no, that's awesome to have a business that's set and running. And
but it's still, I mean, being the boss of 12 to 14 people, that's psychologically and emotionally taxing at times.
I bet.
I mean, it is, and so ever since we closed, I've been a lot more relaxed.
Oh, it's weird. Who would have thought not running a restaurant will make you more relaxed? Well, I mean, it makes total sense. I'd always assumed with the timing, it was just pretty straightforward like that. What I'm really curious about is, as the years go on, pandemic kind of is, we get an idea of what it is, and coming out of it, which some would argue has happened very recently. And you're having all these people asking you, and they're telling you how much they miss it. What kept you from ever just being like, I'm going to bring it back? Was it the fact that you're like, I'm so relaxed, why would I,
It was part of it.
Yeah.
It was definitely part of it. And then just the, when I opened, I worked 90 to 100 hours a week for the first 2 years. And it was horrible. It was just awful.
It's terrible.
I mean, it was a labor of love, and it was worth it. But I didn't want to have to face that again, and I wouldn't have had to, because I had all that experience under my belt.
Right.
But it still would have required. I mean, I would have been able to know when to hire staff and know when to delegate. Whereas when I first started, I had 2 employees, 1 full-time and 1 part-time employee, and me, and I was there forever. But I wouldn't have had to do that the second time around, but I would have had to go into debt,
right,
a couple $100,000 to buy all the equipment again and set up a space, and I just didn't relish the idea of going into debt again and having that hanging over my head.
Yeah. When you put it that way, makes sense.
That's a good decision.
Yeah. So, Pat, from your perspective, what have been some of the unexpected things that have happened or that you've learned? Because I know when we initially met, you're like, hey, I know how to build a company. You've done it multiple times, but you're like, I don't know the restaurant world. It's that time. Bloom Magazine's 3rd annual local restaurant survey is now live. New format, new questions, and now you can name more than one favorite in each category and add your own comments about specific dishes, exceptional staff, or why you love the food. Vote today for your favorite Bloomington restaurants at magbloom.com/food and look for your responses in the annual food issue. That's magbloom.com/food. Cast your votes today. Season 9 of the No Dishes podcast is presented by our friends at Game Day Men's Health. I've been seeing them for the past 5 months and have lost over 50 pounds using tirzepatide. But they do so much more than just weight loss. Whether you're suffering from fatigue, loss of motivation, poor sleep, or other wellness concerns, Game Day Men's Health can help. Check out GameDayMen'sHealth.com today to schedule your free testosterone test and consultation to get yourself back in the game. Better business, better community. For over a century, the Greater Bloomington Chamber of Commerce has been a cornerstone of business growth and community development. They are dedicated to helping local businesses thrive. Their business is all about your business. Join the Chamber today. Call 812-336-6381 or visit chamberbloomington.org to learn more. So what would you say you've learned, and what have been kind of your takeaways from these first, this first month of business?
Yeah, I mean, part of buying the company was to learn a different industry. I've been in book publishing, actually, in this building.
Wow, yeah.
So that was my first job out of school. Then I started a digital advertising agency, then the Mill and Entrepreneurship Center, Flywheel Fund, a venture capital firm. And so never done anything with food. And there were a bunch of folks that said, hey, this is a really bad idea for all these reasons. And, it was a little bit of stubbornness, but a little bit of, hey, I think I can problem solve this and figure out how to how to mitigate all of these risks that everybody else talks about and are true and real. But there's a lot of people that make money in food, and so part of this is really just learning and testing myself and seeing whether or not I can do it. One thing that I knew was going to happen to some degree, I just didn't know how much, was there's so much customer goodwill that from 2020 when you closed. I mean, people literally talk about this on a regular basis. Even people who haven't lived in Bloomington, they moved to Bloomington after you're closed, but still heard about Darn Good Soup from other people. And so
I had multiple people tell me that,
hey, I had to come in here because so-and-so kept on talking about it. And yes, this really is some of the best soup I've ever tasted. So I think that the amount of customer goodwill, I knew a lot of it was there. I just didn't really realize how enduring that was.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of, obviously people love food, and when you really like food, there's a lot of emotion attached to it too. But I think just the simple, pragmatic style that you cook the food in, and or the way you cook the food, it was, you could get in and get out really quick. And here's the 8 to 10 soups that are rotated daily, and it was just very clean and simple. And I think people love that too.
Yeah, I know I've told you this story. I don't know if I've told Nels. When I was we ran out of chicken tortilla.
Yeah.
It just wasn't hot enough yet to serve. Yeah. And there was multiple tickets with it. So I just go out to the dining room. Hey, everyone, if you're waiting on chicken tortilla, I can either get you something else, or it's going to be about 10 or 15 minutes until it's ready to serve. And one lady just goes, we've been waiting 5 years. Take your time. And I was like, oh, that's so good. It was such a good way to sum up the goodwill that Pat's talking about. And we didn't know, when we made the first post, because we did a soft opening with friends and family for a week, and we're kind of getting some feedback from people that had gone there a lot. And even though we said don't say anything, word was getting out.
Of course, people said something.
Word was getting out.
We said, hey, no socials, and not everybody got that message, which is great, but also here's one other variable we have to manage. But yeah.
Well, I will. One of the photos we've used a bunch, I have to give Garrett credit. It ran in the Indy Star. It was the picture of the bag in front of the store, and Garrett sent that to me. So I've tried to get him photo credit as much as I can, but kudos to Garrett for.
That was a solid picture.
Yeah,
it was good.
When I was looking at what are we going to do for our announcement photo, he had already sent that to me. I was like, I don't even have to go take one. This is good. It shows Darn Good Soup. It shows chocolate mousse. Points kind of there, And I think that initial reaction, because we didn't have access to the Facebook at the time, but just the Instagram post and the Reddit post I made, I think reached over 80,000 people organically.
It was it was a ridiculous number. Yeah.
It was insanity.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I think Pat was right on how much demand there was. We'll see how sustained it is, but I think so far the feedback's been great. And when maybe things slow down in the spring, we put our ice cream hats on and go that direction.
I think the other thing I've learned running the business and really talking with Nels is how thoughtful and considerate he was in all of the decisions. There were multiple times where I'd ask him a question and he would answer, and then the next time we would meet, he'd say, hey, actually, I thought about that question some more. Here's my additional answer. And so I wrote all those things down. And I think the constant refinement of saying, okay, here's a good idea, but let's make it a little bit better. I think that came through in all the recipes and all the goodwill that people have. And so we're trying to take that same approach to Darn Good Soup 2.0.
Great.
Yeah, very intentional individual. It's been great the limited time that we've got to spend, and it comes through, and it's very easy to be like, oh, that soup's good enough, but is it darn good? You got to keep going until it's darn good.
Yeah.
So now you've mentioned Nick's and Uptown. Can you kind of tell us a little bit about where you're from and your experience in the restaurant industry?
Well, I grew up in Bloomington. My family moved here when I was small.
Okay.
I guess the first restaurant experience I had was as a teenager, bussing tables at the Inn of the Four Winds out at Lake Monroe. I'm not sure if it's there I'm sure it's there still. I don't think it's called that anymore.
They have the Windjammer Grill. I don't know if that's still the name, but that was the name for a while.
Yeah, I think so. And then my last year of high school, and then after that in college. I dropped out of college pretty quickly, but
Same.
the first 4 years of my when I was still in high school, and then the first 4 years of my working life, I worked at a bakery that was in Dunkirk Square. It was originally called the Daily Bread, and then it got changed to just the bakery.
Huh.
And we did bread and pastries and bread and pastries.
That was it.
That was pretty much it.
We baked.
Well, actually, diversified it towards the end of my stay there and started making things like hummus and baba ganoush and tabbouleh and to serve along with the bread. But so I mostly did bread, but did some pastries, did croissants and danishes and stuff. And then one of my wholesale customers was the Uptown, and I would deliver bread there every day.
Is this when it was back on Walnut, or was this?
It was right after it moved to Kirkwood.
Okay.
Uptown was in a different spot than it is
You didn't
now?
know that?
I did not know that.
Where Rocket's Pizza is.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Garrett, can you see if you can pull? I feel like I've seen the picture of it like on North Walnut. I don't know how hard it'd be to find. Maybe
I'm
they
sure-
have like a
I'm sure
history
there's
tab on their website.
Some
or
sort of picture out there on the web.
Yeah. Well, just since Pat didn't know
I had
that,
no idea.
I want him to see it. Yeah.
Maybe try original Uptown on Walnut.
Yeah. Or just they might on their
Uptown
website just
Cafe.
have like a history tab. They get so much press. Good for them. They deserve it.
Yeah, it was shortly after they moved to Kirkwood. And then one day I'd been, my boss and I had been at loggerheads for a few months. And one day when I delivered the bread, I was like, "Hey, Michael, can I work here?" He said, "Yeah, sure." So I started the next day. And,
Oh, wow. Wow, that was fast.
Started washing dishes and doing a little bit of cooking, but mostly washing dishes, and worked my way up after.
So you're about 21, or when you started Uptown, you're about 21 or 22.
Yeah, I think probably 22.
Yeah.
Yeah. After about 4 or 5 years, I'd worked my way up to being the head chef and kitchen manager.
How long were you in that role for?
A couple of years, 2 or 3 years. I don't
And
remember
then-
exactly.
Yeah, and then you left.
And
I know that was your first tour duty, as you mentioned.
I left and drove semi trucks for like 6 or 7 years.
Interesting. Okay.
Went back.
What's the connection between cooking and washing dishes and semi-trucks?
None. I was
Getting out of the kitchen.
Getting out.
I left the Uptown and was looking for work, and I did some pretty miserable jobs, and I was looking for something that paid well, that didn't need a lot of training, because restaurant work in general doesn't pay very well, and back then it definitely didn't. And back then, newspapers existed with classified ads, and there's ads for truck drivers. You go to truck driving school, we'll pay for your tuition, and you have to. It was sort of like indentured servitude. You had to agree to work for the company that paid for your tuition for like 6 years or 6 months or a year or something like that.
Huh.
So I did that, and then I went back to the Uptown, and then I went back to driving trucks, and then I went back to the Uptown.
Was every time just you're like, I need a break from the kitchen? Is that essentially kind of what drove it?
Yeah. Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm the kind of guy who, I don't take to having a boss very well.
Yeah. So you open your own place. Perfect.
So yeah. So
What entrepreneurs need to do. They
Yeah.
figure out
How to be their own.
That's
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So how so after your third tour, did you go into truck driving, or is that when you went over to Nick's?
that's when I went over to Nick's. Yeah.
okay. And then what was your role there, and how long were you there for?
I mean, just kind of a general cook, but I also did some of the larger prep, like their soups and stews, and I developed a few recipes for them. made a black bean burger for them that I think they're still doing it. I don't know.
They were, I knew for a while, my friends that were like vegetarian, that black, they were like, this is the best one in town.
It was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, for the most, Nick's is a really interesting place. Everybody kind of floats around from job to job.
Right.
And some people float less, and I was floating a little less in doing some of the bigger prep things, but everybody works the line and makes pizza and cooks burgers and
does it all.
Yeah.
It's such an interesting kitchen.
Yeah, it's
I mean, I've never worked at it, so I don't even know the half of it, but just from seeing it,
it's amazing that they pump out as much food out of that place as they do. It's insane.
Yeah. And that's so one of the people we haven't mentioned yet that we hired on is our new operations manager, Richie Bowling, who used to work with you.
Oh yeah. Richie and I worked at Nick's.
Yeah.
He was really good.
Yeah, well, just even having him on already, just seeing his knife skills, and so he's been fantastic. And really quick, while we're on it, I know we mentioned we shouted out Phil and Katie, and we also have Elliot Green, who's the old general manager of Malibu. We have Joel Travis, who's the Chocolate Mousse events manager, but his whole history is in cooking at Half Bottle Bistro, Switchyard Kitchen, Trojan Horse, and then Abriana Terrell. We've got an amazing cook staff that's pulling off, making copious, ungodly amounts of soup to meet demand. Yeah. So I would have been remiss if I didn't give them all a shout out on here at one point. I don't know if you saw, Pat, but that's the old Uptown.
Oh, there's the old one.
Yeah, Garrett, that's the picture I was thinking of. That was a great job finding that.
Is it? Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I was confused at first because those booths, they took those booths out and put them in the new Uptown.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah.
But yeah, just super.
So they carried it over.
And the new Uptown had the same brick wall, same sort of brick wall that the booths were up against. But yeah, that is the old one.
So Pat, what do you foresee in the future of Darn Good Soup? I know we've been selling soup for like a month.
Right.
So it's kind of early to be asking, but what's your vision for Darn Good Soup moving forward?
Yeah. So when when we purchased the business, I had, this idea that, hey, I think at some point we can franchise this either as a regional franchise or a national franchise. The idea of soup is clear and simple. You've got 70 recipes, and so you don't have to really create a new menu for each city you go into, because each city is going to have their own taste and peculiarities, and it's just going to be, well, here's what soup happens to sell best in LA or Austin or Bloomington, Minnesota, right, versus Bloomington, Indiana. And so it feels like we can kind of work our way towards that vision at some point, really, but in the short term, we just need to still get our feet underneath us, right? We haven't even made all 70.
We made 13. We made 13 of the 70. We got a ways to go.
The No Dishes podcast is brought to you by VisitBloomington.com. VisitBloomington.com is the best resource for restaurant and culinary information, special events, fun activities, places to stay, and more in our area. We share a similar mission here on the No Dishes podcast of highlighting local businesses and the people who make our community unique. We can't thank them enough for hopping on board. Check them out at visitbloomington.com to easily plan your next meal, visit, or night out on the town. The Bloomington Town Planner is a community calendar owned and published by local residents John and Sharon Martin. Mailed out to Bloomington homes in December of each year, it features school schedules and community events. And don't forget the coupons at the bottom of the calendar. They'll save you money and help you decide on the next restaurant or retailer to check out here in the Bloomington area. Town Planner also has an online calendar which can be found at townplanner.com. Make sure to sign up for their weekly e-newsletter so you can stay on top of all the fun events going on around town.
We've got we just entered DoorDash a couple of weeks ago. That was helpful for sales, and we're looking at other locations here in Bloomington for co-locating, similar to what we've done with Chocolate Mousse. We're selling out of Morgenstern's now, so that's nice.
How's that going?
It's going real well. They just re-upped their order, I think, this morning because they sold out a little faster than normal, or faster than they thought they would. They open at 9 a.m. and Jenna, the general manager, and one of the co-owners was telling me the other day that somebody was waiting at 9 a.m. for soup, and she's like, well, you have to wait for us to reheat the soup.
That's not,
and,
yeah.
and they're like, okay, that's fine. And that's not really the.
I'll grab a book. And
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So they've gone through 4 gallons so far. We took them 4 more gallons. They're just doing chicken tortilla and lentil spinach for now. We'll rotate in. They always want to do 1 meat, 1 vegetarian. Today we had our general manager of our Bloomington store take the soup over there, and she came back. I was like, how was it? She's like, they were so excited to see me. All the cafe workers are like, yes. And she's like, they were cheering for me. But I know they can't go through they're not set up to really go through an insane amount of volume, because I think once it runs out, they then have to not sell any while the next batch heats up.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, they've been very happy with how quick it's been going, and
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's great.
And chicken tortilla and lentil spinach are our 2 best sellers, right? Chicken tortilla on the meat side, lentil spinach on the veggie side. So yeah, super excited with how that's going, and we're starting to do some catering orders now, which has been great. Those have kind of been coming in just organically through all the people you and me and Lovey know. So that's been great. And we're Chocolate Mousse has a location in Brown County, so at some point here, probably Q1, we'll expand there. And so lots of co-location opportunities. At some point, we want to do a standalone location in Bloomington. In addition to the partnership at Chocolate Mousse, lots of folks have asked me, okay, you're gonna at what point are you gonna get away from Chocolate Mousse? I'm like, hey, I think this is going pretty well, so like let's keep doing this.
I think it's a great combination.
Yeah.
Because it really helps alleviate the downfall of seasonality.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even realize as we sat down that you and I could probably talk about how tough running a seasonal restaurant is for hours, because it's not other than other ice cream folks. I don't really have people I can talk to about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you lived that for 9 years, and it is very challenging. So who knows? Maybe we'll just franchise like our version of KFC Taco Bell, and it's
I'm down for that.
yeah, it's a chocolate mousse darn good soup.
When I was doing the original research around soup restaurants, I mean, there's a ton of franchises that have started and that have not gone well, and so at some point they kind of peter out. And one of the ideas I looked at was a company in Chicago that did ice cream and soup. And folks were like, "Hey, you need to look at this." And I was like, "Well, they went out of business though. So like, am I getting into something that I should see? I already know how the movie is going to end." And so, I think for them, we'll have to do kind of a pre-autopsy. Like, hey, why didn't it work up there? Was it just like any other restaurant? Like at some point, it just may not work, or was there something they did that we need to avoid?
Yeah.
We'll figure that out at some point.
Well, I ate at
the soup box. It was called the soup box and the ice box, right?
I ate there
Yeah.
once,
Yeah.
and their soup wasn't very good.
Yeah, it helps when you have a good product.
Yeah.
It was not bad. It was not bad, but it was not.
Not darn good.
Yeah.
No. I mean, it was.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
I ate there out of professional curiosity. I didn't go there.
Interesting. Okay.
It was my in-laws live in the Chicago area, and so it was, I don't know, maybe like 2015 or so. We went there, and I wouldn't, if as a customer, I wouldn't go back.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
It wasn't bad, but it wasn't really good either.
Yeah. Well,
It was extremely mediocre, and
that doesn't get you by in the restaurant world.
not really.
No. Well, and that's, it's such a small sample size, because I remember we were like, has anyone done this before, soup and ice cream? Yeah. And we found one and it had closed, but who knows? Could have been, mismanagement, poor product quality. But it's interesting that there's not more examples of it happening.
Well, I'd heard that their ice cream was really good.
Okay. Well, I'd like to think we got that down too. So
Check that off the
yeah,
list.
right.
Yeah.
But the soup, they just,
Was it enough for a meal like darn good soup is, or did they have other things you would add to it, like sandwiches?
No, they were selling it as a meal.
Oh, really? Okay. That's good to know. Yeah, that's good intel. Yeah, since it closed down, there's hardly anybody that I can talk to that really knew about it.
Yeah.
Gary, it was called the soup box. So Nels, what was your we're wrapping up, and I'd be again remiss if I didn't ask this while I have you. But what are your favorite soups, and what do you miss the most of operating Darn Good Soup?
Well, favorite soups. That's kind of hard.
I know.
all
It's
70.
asking to pick your favorite
Definitely
child,
not
yeah.
all 70, but well, chicken tortilla, definitely. Chicken pot pie, the gumbo, pretty much all of the seafood soups, Phil's unstuffed cabbage, the lentil spinach. It's one of my favorites. Corn chowder. The Manhattan clam chowder is not a very good recipe, though. Don't do that.
Okay, good to know.
Should we not do that recipe or not do that soup at all?
I've never
Both.
I've never been a big Manhattan clam chowder guy.
Both.
If I want clam chowder, I'm going New England.
Yeah.
I mean, the recipe itself is pretty good and it's pretty tasty, but people just, when they would see the red and they'd be like, no, I want the
not
white
good.
one.
Yeah. Yep.
I want the creamy one.
Right.
Not
Yeah.
the tomatoey one. Anyway, so those and I mean, there are so many of them. The white bean soups with ham and andouille. The all of the potato soups, the potato poblano. I mean,
Yeah. Well, that was.
It'd probably be easier for me to list off the ones that I don't
No,
like.
that was great. That was good. I love to hear you say these are the ones that really stand out to me reflecting back. Then what
What are your favorites?
So really like the Phil's unstuffed cabbage, the twice baked potato. The first batch we did was good. The second batch we just did is even better.
money.
It's
Yep.
like that's where, and I was even talking to Phil, and he's like, "Man, I tasted it." And he's like, "This is how it should be." Man, and then the West African chicken peanut is so good.
Yeah, that's another one.
I've been doing sour cream and hot sauce and mixing it all up, and it's just like I don't know, it's perfect to me. It's so good, and they're all the West African in particular and the Phil's and stuff. Just the way they sop up on the bread,
Yeah.
it's just so good.
Broccoli cheddar is another one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Really good.
So what do you miss the most of having Darn Good Soup open?
I really enjoy. I like making people happy by feeding them. That's always something that I've really enjoyed. Just seeing people take a bite of something and go, "Wow, this is really good." That's a great feeling. And the general community, because it was like Lunch Rush was always really fast paced and hectic, but people would come in and they'd talk to each other and they'd say, "Hey," or they'd introduce somebody that they're standing with in line to somebody else that they know in line, and just the general community that was created. It was a pretty nice feeling.
I bet. Yeah, I'm feeling inspired right now. I was like, it is a really, because I'm not, as for working in restaurants for 20 years, I'm not a chef. And so like we're talking to chefs, like just being like, yes, what I created, me making a milkshake's not the same, but like
Some milkshakes can be really good.
No, that's true. I do take pride in doing it well, but it's not the same as I came up with these flavor to a degree, but that's awesome. I really appreciate you sharing. Yeah. Or were you going to say something?
No.
Okay. Yeah. Pat, do you have any parting thoughts about Darn Good Soup being back and what it's been like for you and just looking ahead?
Yeah. Yeah, I think the thing that gets me excited most about Darn Good Soup, I mean, besides me liking the soup itself, is that I get excited that other people are excited. I mean, I get stopped literally once a day still. I mean, it's been almost a month since we opened, and folks still say, "Hey, thank you so much for bringing back Darn Good Soup." And I have no idea who these people are. They clearly know me, but they're just thankful and they want to say something. And
probably
so
going to keep going for quite a while.
I welcome it. That's making people happy is a really nice feeling. So yeah, love that everybody loves it so much. And I think the main thing that I want to do long term, I mean, we've only made a handful of the 70 soups. Is like we got to make the other 70 and we got to nail those because Darn Good Soup is important to me. It's like I was there a lot. I really like the concept. I want to honor the thing that you helped create and bring into the world. And the best way to do that is to make sure we nail the recipes. So really focused on how do we make sure that we get Darn Good Soup 2.0 as close to Darn Good Soup 1.0 as possible. And then after that, once we got our feet underneath us, then we can make improvements and change things and make sure it's kind of built for the current economy, right? With DoorDash and things like that, and Instagram, but yeah, just making sure that we honor this wonderful thing that Nels created. That's that's one of my big priorities right now.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're only 15% of the way there or something, roughly, as far as how many suits we've made.
We're
versus
babies
how many there
right
are.
now. Yeah.
So we haven't talked about it yet. Open 7 days a week at the Chocolate Moose, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Available on DoorDash on the Chocolate Moose DoorDash. So if you Google or search on DoorDash Darn Good Soup, it doesn't pop up. You have to go to the Chocolate Moose. We might change that eventually. And then just on top of the demand and people thanking you, Pat, it's your most liked ever LinkedIn post.
Yes.
And you had someone comment on it about the soup box that knew about it.
That's right.
But yeah, I just want to say thank you to Nels for trusting Pat and everything that you did. Obviously, you did something very, very right. And then thank you to Pat for in turn trusting me to help with this.
I think you guys are you're gonna do just fine.
Awesome.
Thanks,
I hope so.
You're doing a good
wood.
job so far.
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
I'm going to
appreciate
end
that.
on that. Thank you so much, Nels. All right, cheers, guys. Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks.
You're still here. You made it, champ. I'm proud of you. Thanks to Game Day Men's Health, all of our other sponsors, and to G Baby Garrett with Green Hat Media. See you next time. This episode of the No Dishes podcast was recorded, edited, and produced by Garrett Portinga of Green Hat Media in beautiful downtown Bloomington, Indiana.
No dishes.
No Dishes Media.
No Dishes Media.